Today's show is sponsored by the Franklin Street Market. If you love knowing what's up and coming in the Pittsburgh food scene, you've got to check out the spring edition of the Franklin Street Market on the north side. It's an evening food market featuring emerging Pittsburgh food producers, and it's your opportunity to discover emerging food brands, pick up fresh flowers and art, and enjoy a lush Pittsburgh spring evening with a local beverage in hand. They're coming up on Thursdays. That's April 24th, May 29th, and June 26th, all from 4 to 8 p.m. at 1243 North Franklin Street. So come experience the food businesses that are blossoming in Pittsburgh at the Franklin Street Market. Learn more at franklinstreetmarketpgh.com. This episode is supported by Liberty Magic and its upcoming show, Malin Nilsson in Magic Unplugged. Magic is part of Malin's blood. She is a third-generation magician who's showcasing her skills as part of a laugh-out-loud and very theatrical performance. You'll experience handmade magic tricks, surrealism, and comedy, topped with raw onions and a pinch of confetti. If you want to see how raw onions fit into magic, well, you're just going to have to come catch the show for yourself. Malin Nilsson in Magic Unplugged is running now through May 4th at Liberty Magic, Pittsburgh's premier speakeasy that is all about the sleight of hand and elevating the art of magic. And if you're really adventurous, you should snag Skeleton VIP tickets. It gets you front row access and an exclusive meet and greet after the show. Get your tickets at trustarts.org/magic before they disappear. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, here's a hot take. Pittsburgh is becoming an okay wine city. I know, big talk, but for a landlocked city hundreds of miles from the most established wine regions, I really think we're coming into our own. So whether you're looking to learn, looking to pound, or just want a chill spot to unwind, we're with a few of our best wine friends to talk about the best places to grab a glass in Pittsburgh. It's Wednesday, April 16th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm with Jeremy Jones, the owner of Discover the Burgh. Jeremy, we talk about your stuff all the time. Welcome back to CityCast.
Thanks for having me again. Happy to be here.
And a personal friend, but first time for the podcast, Kanika Rauchi. Welcome to CityCast.
Thank you so much.
Kanika, I know you're a culinary educator. It sounds so official. Sommelier, you go by the Indian Somm, that's SOMM, and that curry smell on Instagram. So, Kanika, we'll start with you. Do you think that Pittsburgh is a good wine city? You can define that how you want to.
I think it's getting better. So it has been a good city in terms of we have a lot of cultures actually coming into play in Pittsburgh because of all of the colleges that are here. And it is a good city in terms of people wanting to try out newer things. But Jeremy can will probably disagree with me on that. But I feel like compared to a lot of the other mid-sized cities, Pittsburgh it's a decent city. And I think it's getting better. We do have some good importers that I work with, a few of them, and wine shops, bars, and somms that are trying to bring in some new and exciting wines. And there are some wine classes like the ones that I do that are, in general, like run by individuals who have some experience and knowledge in the field that people can attend. Yeah. And I feel like with that and people's hesitation is finally, I think, just going to try out different wines. So it is becoming a better city for wine. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there.
That is such a diplomatic no. I love it. Jeremy, what about you?
Oh, I mean, I'll be a hard no. I mean, but Kanika is right. It is getting better, but it's one of those things where you have to think about like wine in the context of all like libations and spirit. And
exactly.
Like
that's kind of what I mean. Like
beer city, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean by that, I guess. Like, I know, like, not a lot of wine is made in the city of Pittsburgh, if any, honestly. But, like, do we have good options here? Is it easy enough to get? I have my own feelings about that. The answer is also a no. Like, do we have decent, like, wine drinking vibes, I guess?
It's better than it was 10 years ago when we started our site for sure. But I think you have to dig a little bit more than I would like. I would like a wine shop on every corner and, stores to just be free to sell wine. I mean, that's getting better at least. The state's been getting more open to let bottle shops exist and not just fine wine and good spirits. So like that's getting better. Like now that I know enough places to get wine in the city, I can be happy, but it still could be better.
Yeah. And that's part of why we wanted to talk to Jens today, is to like make this a little bit more of an accessible experience to folks who do not have your incredible education background, because both of you have been through some really tremendous training around wine and wine experiences. Kanika, what's the difference to you between like a quote unquote wine bar and a place that will serve you wine?
Right. I think for me, it comes down to the passion of the som or the owner who's running it, the bar manager, whoever that is, who runs the establishment. That makes a big difference. You would really likely to see a good rotation of different wines from different regions. Several places have themed events. That would be like a wine bar. And also the servers are usually very well trained and are knowledgeable in the offerings that they have. In a restaurant or a bar, wine is not really a focus. So you might not see a lot of varieties, and you might just see the same thing month after month. You might not see a lot of different things being offered.
Well, I mean, I feel like here in Pittsburgh, like there's places that have a wine program. Like you can do a subcategory here. There are restaurants that have a wine program, and then there are ones that offer you like Barefoot and Yellowtail, and like who knows when the last time they uncorked that was?
Yeah.
Both of y'all's faces. Like, do you even go to those places anymore?
I get a beer.
Yeah, I mean, if the food is good, I'll go, but I might not get a wine. I might just get a gin and tonic or something.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's talk about kind of what that experience is like for a lot of Pittsburghers, because again, you guys are so educated, but that's not true for everybody. Say you want to order a glass, you understand that there's a difference, visible difference between red and white and rosé. Maybe you even like have branched out to orange wine, but things like varietals, vineyards, parts of the world, like that stuff is maybe lost on you. What do you think you should know about yourself to be able to reliably and consistently order yourself a glass of wine that you will like? Because it can be really intimidating for folks to jump into that.
One thing with drinking wine is everything is related to each other in some capacity. So even just knowing like, oh, I had a Riesling once, I really liked it. Or if the sommeliers know what they're talking about, that's what they're there for, is helping. So like, what wine do you recommend to go with this food?
Yeah.
I would rather rely on someone who, has been working with the bottles day in, day out to give recommendations. But, you do like fruity wines. Do you like wines that are more earthy and minerally driven? Do you like sweet wines, dry wines? There's a lot of things that you can probably reference to a glass that you've had before without knowing anything else. It's very unlikely that a bar is going to have that same exact bottle, but they're going to have something that might be similar, or at least the som will know enough that's like, okay, well, if you like that, give this one a try.
It can be tricky, right? Like say the Riesling example, speaking for myself, it wasn't quite my gateway wine, but it was close, right? And I would say, I think I like Rieslings. And then somebody would walk me through some questions to like nail down whether I would like their Riesling, because that is a different question. Rieslings can be made all over the world. Kanika, how do you advise folks, or maybe what do you ask them to get to a good recommendation?
Yeah, I find it really valuable to have insights that come from either side of the argument, of the conversation. So if it's like, if I'm engaging with people who are attending my classes or hire me for an event, I'll always ask them what they dislike about a wine. It could be something like somebody doesn't like sweeter styles, or somebody likes a sweeter style, or if they lean towards a drier expression of the same wine. So it helps me tailor that. But also, if they enjoyed a wine, why did they enjoy it? So many people don't realize that there's an incredible range of a single varietal. Just like you said about a Riesling, there are many times that people have been absolutely happy to be discovering a dry Riesling. They never knew that it existed. Beyond that, I also find it very, very useful to see how they are like to drink their wine. Do they have a particular food in mind that they want to pair it with? Or maybe just a mood?
Yeah, I mean, I feel so lucky, Kanika, because I have watched you do this with folks, like kind of interrogate a taste preference, which is really fun. I mean, how do you walk people through the way they describe wine? Because, like, for example, something I hear from friends a lot is like, oh, I really like sweet wine. But if you gave them a true sweet wine, they hate it. They think it tastes like sugar, and that's not what they're into. Like, especially things like differences between like sweet versus fruit, which I think can be easily confused.
Right. No, and you're very right about that. And people do get confused about that. And I always try and have them go through this journey of what they consider sweet. So something might be just fruity, but not sweet. So I'll give them something which is really fruity. It could be a dry red wine. It could be a very nice Zinfandel, which is, I mean, a drier expression of it. Zinfandel, not the bad white Zinfandel, a red Zinfandel from a really good place.
Hey, don't hate on the white Zinfandel. The white Zinfandel started my journey. Now I'm going to out myself. That actually was the gateway wine.
You know what? I don't hate on any of the wines. I feel like, no judgment at all. I feel like there is a time and place for everything. I started with a very bad bottle of not even Manischewitz. I mean, a lot of my friends were just like laughing at me. That was my Monday wine. It wasn't even Manischewitz. It was something else. It was a $3 for a liter and a half or something. And that was my Monday wine. I enjoyed it.
Well, and I feel like sometimes that is the most difficult piece for people, feeling like you belong in spaces like this, because not everyone sees themselves as a quote unquote wine drinker, in y'all's case, wine experts, but especially for you, Kanika, because I've heard you talk about this, like what it's been like to try to find your voice and build confidence as you're also building this small business.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for asking me that, because that was actually a big part of my wine journey and why I ended up here and why I decided to go through rigorous training and everything. Because as a woman of color in this industry, the way I navigate this space has been very different because there's been a lack of representation. There's not much diversity in wine and food. It tends to be very Eurocentric. And also wine, and something that I faced with it was something that was always associated with exclusivity. And I really wanted to break those barriers, whether it was education or how we perceive wine with like wine and food and how we sample it. That was very important to me, to have that element of inclusivity in it and not feel intimidated, because I felt like that and I didn't want anybody else to feel like that. My background as a first generation Indian immigrant who has lived and traveled in various countries around the world and cooked in all of those various countries around the world, because also my family is food obsessed, to put it mildly. It allows me to bridge these cultures and flavors in a way that is traditional in a way, but also non-traditional. And it resonates with more than just a very small group of people. It's for a wider range of audience. And I think representation matters so much in something like this. We all want to be a part of this. Wine is awesome. And I want everybody to be able to sample that and not feel intimidated by, oh my God, what will anybody think? If I walk into a wine store, are they going to look at me weird? Like I was looked at weird. I mean, there were people who would try and push me back because I looked a certain way, it was a woman, and that's just, I didn't want that for anybody else. So that's what I'm trying to do with my classes and my education.
Hi, I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast. We've all set health goals: lose weight, exercise more, eat better. But without a plan, those goals often fade. That may have happened to you. It has definitely happened to me. And that's where Prolon comes in. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet gives you a science-backed, structured approach to stay on track and see real results. And now Prolon is upping their game with the new next-gen 5-day program, delivering the same science-backed benefits in a cleaner, more convenient, and more flavorful format. Prolon is a plant-based nutrition program featuring soups, snacks, and beverages designed to nourish the body while keeping it in a fasting state, triggering cellular rejuvenation and renewal. Next Gen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed over decades at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top U.S. medical centers, Prolon has been shown to support biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. I've been doing the 5-day program, and I feel so much better. I really enjoy the tasty energy bars, the snacks and soups, and the fact that I can enjoy meals, even though the calorie count is super low. The flavors and textures are excellent. An olive oil snack here, broccoli and quinoa soup there, hibiscus tea, a yummy nut bar. It's got the benefits of a 5-day fast, but doesn't have the challenge of doing it with pure liquids. It's a system reset. And also, I know this sounds funny, but it's not. The packaging and directions are fantastic, clear and well organized and thoughtful. For a limited time, you can be first in line to experience the new Next Gen at special savings. Prolon is offering CityCast listeners 15% off site-wide, plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just visit prolonlife.com/city. That's PROLONLIFE.com/city to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. prolonlife.com/city.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Well, so I guess whether you're doing some summer sipping, maybe with a fancy glass, maybe with a $2 chuck, are there any etiquette tips that either of y'all recommend when you want to go out for a glass?
I am pretty chill and laid back. I mean, like, in our classes, we had, a structured approach for they call it the systematic approach to tasting. We have what we look for when we do, deep analysis into wine. But honestly, wine
There's a
should
difference between tasting for tasting notes and then tasting to have a nice time.
I mean, just smell it, look at it, have intention, and just pay attention to it. You don't have to be stuffy about it, but I think it's important for people to stop and just think about what are these flavors. But I'm also super fun. If I want to be really annoying, I'll cheers. And then I put the glass up to my ear while it's still ringing, and I go, oh, that sounds good.
So you throw a dad joke in there.
Oh,
then.
I sure do. Absolutely. I mean, I'll do a tasting. I'll be like, looks like grapes, tastes like grapes. It's grapes. Don't do that in front of a sommelier, though. But you don't have to be super serious. Just enjoy what you like and drink it. I think that's my take.
I always say this in my classes, wine is part art and part agriculture. So you should enjoy it as you want to and as you need to for that one glass of wine. But one thing that I always, for me personally, that I like doing is always using a stemmed glass, not entirely negating the fact that it also makes me feel very fancy. I like that. I like feeling fancy.
Yeah,
I love
nice.
a fancy stem glass too.
Yeah, and not overfilling it so I can swirl it. So I like to slip and swirl slowly with intention. I'm a very sensorial person, and I love to smell and take a lot of sniffs of everything that I do, not just wine. This is a problem, but I like to drink with intention, and I encourage that too, not just mindless drinking. Although there are times when you need that, when you need the mindless drinking, but not negating that. But I just like to drink with intention and encourage people to do the same.
Yeah, same. I think the word I've used a lot is it's more like appreciation. Somewhere somebody grew something and a lot of little miracles had to happen to bring you this glass in your hand. And especially in the stemmed one, it stays colder if you just hold it by the stem. There's a reason for it. The more you know. So let's talk about recommendations, places to actually get some wine here in Pittsburgh. What is your best favorite casual spot?
For me, it's gonna probably come up a lot, but Allegheny Wine Mixer in Lawrenceville.
Upper Lawrenceville, what is it, a little past 52nd?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of all the way down at the end of the business stretch there, but it's across from the Pusity's Garden, the Thai restaurant.
Yeah,
it's a lovely wine bar in Lawrenceville. They have very knowledgeable staff. It's super approachable. Their menu changes all the time, so I can always get something new when we're there. And also just a few blocks down the road, Solera is another great wine bar that just opened a few months ago as well. Lawrenceville is just a great little wine spot. So it's just welcoming, approachable, easy. You can have a conversation with the somm. You can learn about wine. You can drink some good products, and they're not terribly expensive either. So those are two of my favorites.
Yeah. And I think both of those do wine by the glass, wine by the bottle.
Yeah.
But you can also get a little taste of something if you're just totally unsure and you need someone to help you pick a thing before you commit to the thing.
Oh, definitely. Kanika, what about you? I know I probably swooped in and stole your answer, but what else do you got?
No, I mean, you're so right. AWM, Allegheny Wine Mixer, is one of my absolute favorites. And the reason for that is the som. It's the person who runs it. I mean, Sean, who is studying to be a master som, he is somebody who is extremely knowledgeable and he really brings a lot of passion to it. So their list changes, and it's not just about an expensive wine or just one region in particular. It just changes and it's very varied. And they have a good list always. The other place that I'd like to say is Barcelona Wine Bar. That
Shocking,
is
a chain. Kanika's going for a chain.
I know. I like it too. I hate that I like a chain so much, but it's really good.
Yeah, I actually there are good things that come from being something that is a chain and has access to a lot of money.
That's true.
A plethora of options that a smaller wine bar might not be able to give to. They have a lot more open bottles, so you can do half pours of multiple things at a time, which I find really useful and nice to have. And they have good food.
Yeah. And their menus are usually pretty consistent across locations, which I'm imagining, to your point, Kanika, like can help them pick the wine that they, pair with it too. What about the best fancy spot? Like it's a special moment. You want to do something different. What would y'all recommend?
Well, Kanika and I think we both had the same one as our first thought was Mary's Vine out near Kennywood and Rankin. It's a converted.
It's an old church.
Yeah. It's like super classy. It's really nice. Like I don't feel like I have to
sip wine out of like basically like your it's nicer than this, but like your grandpa's recliner. Like that's kind of like it's just very cozy in there.
It's higher end. They definitely have more premium bottles, higher price point. But they also have speakeasy cigars, the whole deal. Like it's a pretty all in one stop. I really like that. There's also a local winery kind of near the Youghiogheny River southeast of here called Benoski Winery.
That one's brand new to me. I've never heard of that.
It's in this like massive like mansion. Like mansion's not selling it big enough. It's almost like a castle. Oh. And I was like, oh, winery. I'm gonna like roll up and go check this out. And I pull up and I'm like, am I in the right place? Like it looks like the mansion is like it's hard to describe, but it's one of the biggest houses I've seen in Western Pennsylvania, and they have like a wine bar there, and they do events and music. It's a good one for being outside, but like it's super casual when you're there, but the imposing building makes me feel like it's like super fancy.
Yeah, this gives big like wedding. I Googled it, like big wedding venue vibes. Like it's really, really big. It kind of looks like a Victorian, but bigger.
Yeah, it's huge.
I love castles. Definitely, I'll echo Jeremy's answer here. Mary's Wine is great. It's a really cool place. There's a lot of nooks and crannies and different rooms for you to like explore and check out. There's a speakeasy behind like a nice hidden door, which I really like. I just like fun stuff like this. And I think it's they also have a very good list. They have a good bar manager and some on their team as well. And they have good food. I really like that. And I mean, if you want to get really fancy, Tony and I just head to our cellar, which is also excellent.
Okay. Well, not all of us have access to Kanika and Tony's cellar. What about the best places to go for like a good food and wine pairing? Because I didn't know until behind the curtain here, Kanika, Jeremy, and I all did the same wine education, but I stopped at a very low level. Kanika and Jeremy went much, much further and are killing it in the wine game. But like, I didn't realize what a science it kind of is, like an art and a science to get the taste of food to taste good with wine and vice versa. Like that is a real art on its own. Where would y'all recommend?
I think so. There are a lot of places in and around Pittsburgh. If it's like a restaurant that you're looking at, Morcia is one of those that is great. And it's Spanish food, and they do a good job of pairing it with good Spanish wines. There is also different places in and around the city that hold wine dinners specifically. To your point, Megan, like you mentioned that as well. So there are definitely a few of those that are great. And I'd like to definitely plug in my classes too. I do classes with a lot of cheese and food importers and proprietors.
Oh yeah, those pairings are awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
I can also vouch for Kanika. You do a great job. Also, Kanika sometimes cooks food during those classes too, and chef's kiss. Jeremy, what about you? What do you recommend?
Well, it's interesting that you kind of enter this with like food pairings and how difficult it is to pair wine and food sometimes. When I travel and go to wineries, a lot of places are like, our food just naturally goes with the wine because that's just how it evolved over centuries. Like, there's a reason why Italian food and Italian wine goes together. So
evolved over centuries tells me where you're traveling to, but yeah, keep going.
I could have said millennia, but records and all that. But like I love themed restaurants here that focus on one country. That those are my kind of places that I love to go to for wine, because they have really good by the glass menus from those countries. So like Dish has great Sicilian wine, Morcia, Spanish, Barcelona Wine Bar, Spanish and other Spanish-speaking countries. Gaucho downtown actually has really good wine now that they have their liquor license in the location downtown. So like I think look for like specialty shops, restaurants that are from a single country. That's always really exciting when they have a good aligned wine program.
Yeah.
But also some like modern American restaurants in the area, like Fig and Ash and Cienfuegos on East Ohio Street, have killer wine programs. We just went to Cienfuegos again a couple of days ago, and I was floored by just how big their by the glass menu was. They have a great dessert wine section. Like I wanted to drink way more glasses than I had the capacity for there. I also want to give Apteca a shout out too. They're the vegan Eastern European restaurant. They're like my favorite restaurant in the city, but they have a really lovely natural wine program that goes really well with their food. And they do bottle sales also.
Yeah, I'll also throw in Refusilio over in the north side again, kind of like what y'all were talking about. Like it's an Argentinian wine. They specialize in Argentinian wine. They have a vineyard there, but they also make sure that their small plates kind of go with everything, which I really appreciate. What about a nice place to try a bunch of things? So for folks who are maybe a little less decisive in their glasses, what would you recommend?
Apparicina Wine Bar in Upper St. Clair is really good. I know they have wine flights. I haven't been in a while. I don't know if it's all the time or just specials, but their wine flights are really good. And then Kanika and I, like, also one of our gateway places in Pittsburgh is Palate Partners. I think we all do, because that's where we all studied wine at also, because they're a wine school.
I think that might be where we all met, although at different times.
Yeah, definitely. They do a casual Friday class on the first and third Fridays of the month. I recommend buying a ticket in advance just in case it does sell out, but I think it's like something like $15 and you get 6 samples.
And a little class too.
And like, a little class, yeah. It's
one
it's
that
the
makes
best.
fun of you a little bit. Like it's like a nice sense of humor to go through like the class of whatever the wines are that week.
Yeah, I mean, for like $15 and you get like a glass and a half worth of wine, but you get to try like up to 6 different bottles. That was my gateway class that got me down this whole rabbit hole of wine classes. So, you might walk in for a flight or a tasting and then walk out signing up for an 8-week program like I did.
Well, shout out to Deb and Mike over there in like kind of that corridor between like Bloomfield and Lawrenceville. Let's move on. What about, I guess actually this is part and parcel, best places to learn about wine. Of course, Palate Partners, but are there any other classes or places that you suggest?
Kanika's class.
Definitely.
Thank you. Yeah, I would definitely, before tooting my own horn, I'd definitely mention Deb and Mike's Palate Partner classes. They're excellent. If you want to learn something like in a more formal capacity too, WSET classes that they have are really good, and Deb's a great educator. And we've all learned from her.
WSET is like the group, like Master Sommelier is one way to learn about wine. WSET is another version. Right. And they have a bunch of classes that are separate from their casual Friday. Like you can do a series of classes about a part of the world or a type of wine, or you can do like a 101 class. There's a bunch of different things.
Right. And then I'd like to plug in my classes too. I mean, we have all sorts of themed classes. I have them in several different areas of the city. 2 of the ones that I always have are with Chantel's Cheese in Bloomfield, and then Nosh and Curd in my side of the town, which is northern suburban area, so Mars. And we're actually just introducing something like a wine passport, where we'll be doing different wines and cheeses from a particular country or an area in each of the sessions, and you can sample a lot of stuff.
Amazing. Kanika, Jeremy, thank you all so much. Not just for being here on the show, but also like for helping people understand wine a little bit better. It can be really intimidating, and y'all are helping folks, I know.
Yeah, happy to.
This was a blast. It's always fun to talk about wine, and we all know each other, so this is even more fun.
I think the biggest travesty is that none of the 3 of us are actually drinking wine right now.
Oh,
we did not plan this at all.
You don't know what's in my cup, Jeremy.
It's tea. True. I can see it.
This is the light color.
You do not know what's in my cup now.
That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you're looking for more inspiration for a nice night out with a glass of wine, we've got you covered. Definitely check out our website, pittsburgh.citycast.fm, for all the restaurants and bars we talked about today, plus a whole lot more that we did not get to. That's all going to be in our Hey Pittsburgh newsletter too, plus some of our recommendations. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
Jeremy, now it's your turn. What was your gateway wine?
Ooh, I have a travel blog that I started before our Pittsburgh site, and we were lucky that we've been to a couple wine regions, and we kind of got in through wine just from being in the place.
Oh, yours is going to be fancy, isn't it?
How beautiful it is. I always tell people that my gateway wine that really triggered me to learn wine, it wasn't the first bottle that I had that I was like, oh, I like grapes. We were at a wine bar by a master sommelier in Florida at Disney Springs, actually, and we had a bottle of Chateau Moussard 1998 from Lebanon. And it was like, this was in 2018, so it was 30 years old. And it was the first time we had a wine that was that old. And I was just like, oh my God, what is this? What was all going on in this? Because I was used to always drinking like, those light fruity wines that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And I never knew that wine could be like that nuts. So my gateway wine was $120 bottle of wine, but it really did like trigger me to like really start paying attention more, which is, I think everyone has, something that's like, I want to know more about this. So that I would say that's my gateway wine, but yeah, it is bougie.